Thank you, and thank you very much for the opportunity to speak to you today about spread and adoption in a complex world. If we can have the next slide, please. So what's system convening? Well, it's an enabling activity, and what it does is it matches the approach to take for spread and adoption with the complexity of the situation. And you can see on the right hand side there, system convening is what is really useful when we have a complex situation. By using system convening, this applies the 7 principles into practice in a bespoke way to reflect the local context. So it requires local knowledge and understanding. And providing these enabling activities is often done by more than one person. And I think highly unlikely anyone has system convening in their job title, but I think they recognise some of these activities. And because the activities are quite broad, probably more than one person is involved. System convening happens or can happen at all levels in the system, from national level through regional level, system level to a local level, with interdependence between those levels. We see it very much as a third complementary role, working alongside those of the innovators and the adopters. We also think that system convening is an emerging and not well described role, but it's an activity already in use, or perhaps in limited use, in healthcare. And this model of system convening is heavily based on the work of Bev and Etienne Wenger Trainer, and also Mary Allbean. So it's pulling their work together and adapting it for our situation. And as I say, I think we're describing something that already perhaps exists. And that's what I'd like to hear from you. On to the next slide. In terms of spread and adoption, working with complexity needs this enabling leadership style that I mentioned in the principles slide. And what this diagram is depicting is the complementary role between programme management and system convening. So with programme management, which we're very familiar, some of the activities that are listed here: you design a plan, you have delivery milestones, you look at the risks and barriers, it's organised, it's planned. And this works and can work extremely well when a piece of work is independent and simple or complicated. However, if we are in the field of interdependent work and complex work, then system convening is what we need as well, because that way of working works with emergence towards the collective goal, building relationships, seeking win-wins, making sense of things for people as to, well, why would I want to incorporate this in my practice, and takes a kind of system perspective. So complex changes require both of these approaches, which are complementary. On to my next slide, my final one, focused on system convening, just a little more detail. So in order to work this way, people need, as I mentioned earlier, local knowledge of the context. They require such skills of judgment, expertise, and a range of skills to be able to apply these 7 principles into practice. Uses enabling leadership to create what's called an adaptive environmental space. And if you'd like to know more about these terms, then there's more information on the Horizons website. But this adaptive space is a way of creating an interface between innovation, the new thing, and the business as usual, and allows for creative conflict discussions and conversations. System convening enables new partnerships based on learning to enable spread and adoption, our focus here this morning, and can increase motivation and engagement by lessening ambiguity for those adopters, and can also help by mobilising networked crowds and influencers, and can also take a kind of strategic view across the whole system.